Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Toni-Ann Williams. I'm a fifth year on the women's gymnastics team. Before I begin, I want to congratulate all of you. You guys are amazing and an inspiration. And thank you for everyone who's allowing me to be able to share my story today. I had my very first collegiate interview my freshman year of season. We were competing at UCLA that Sunday, and to avoid a TV broadcasting scheduling conflict between a minor sporting event called the Super Bowl, we were gracious enough to take the early morning 7 a.m. time. We arrived there, and immediately I was called into the gym for an interview. With a stomach full of butterflies and slightly sleepy eyes, I held the microphone, the Pac-12 microphone, for the first time as a Golden Bear. The question the interviewer asked me was, "Who is Toni-Ann Williams?" I stared at her blankly. Then I hesitated. I then opened my mouth and I said, "I don't know who Toni-Ann Williams is." And that was the honest truth. After 19 years, I genuinely had no idea who I was, more than just a gymnast. Over these past 5 years, I've been thinking about what factors contributed to making me, me. There are general facts like I grew up in Baltimore, I'm a child of immigrants, I have Jamaican and American citizenship, I went to an all-girls school, and I started gymnastics at a very young age. Yes, these are factors that contribute to who I am, and they all come with crazy stories. But they're only the stories I let people hear. To really understand who I am, I want to reflect on stories that people don't always see in the media. For those of you who don't know me, I've had a decent amount of injuries during my time here. I've had 3 knee surgeries, a dislocated elbow where I tore every ligament in my elbow, 2 completely ruptured Achilles tendons, and probably a handful of broken bones I don't know about. All while having rheumatoid arthritis. RA is an autoimmune disease that where your body attacks your own joints. Having RA is a fact about myself that only a handful of people know, and it's something I rarely talk about. I was diagnosed when I was 15 years old, and ever since then, gymnastics and day-to-day activities were always more painful than they should have been. Finding the right doctors and the right medication that eased my pain took years, even throughout college. When I talk about my injuries and my health, I'm not interested in seeking out sympathy. But when I reflect on the question, who is Toni-Ann Williams, my injuries contribute a lot to who I am. Because during this time, gymnastics was taken away from me. And I really had to evaluate myself, who I was beyond the gym. So far in my life, these injuries were some of the most difficult points in my life. Only not because I was out of gymnastics, but because these injuries affected the way I got around campus, my focus in the classroom, the way I participated in day-to-day activities, and even the capacity at which I hung out with my friends. Though these were hard times for me, there were also times where I discovered new passions and interests. I was able to connect with Kazra and Tarek, who helped me develop my role as a leader and to be a peer advisor for the UGBA Scholar Athlete Seminar. I was able to step back in the gym and find my role as a cheerleader/hype woman for each of the girls on the team. I was able to become a mentor to those around me by understanding the value of empathy. With every comeback with each injury, my self-worth seemed to increase. I found a new strength within myself, and each time I recovered, I knew gymnastics I knew my life didn't end because gymnastics ended. Something we discuss a lot as our team is why we do what we do. This is something that contributes to who I am and my transitional growth as an individual. As scholar athletes, we realize that every day is not a walk in the park, and sometimes we have days where we question why we're putting our minds and bodies through all of this. On the women's gymnastics team, we write down and discuss our whys, the anchor in our lives that keep us hungry and motivated to strive to be the best. My why is understanding that my life could be completely different. Being a child of immigrants, I realize I have a wider range of opportunities than girls my age who grew up in Jamaica. I'm also from Baltimore. I could have been influenced to take a different and more dangerous path. And I do what I do because I can. And I want other little girls and boys who grew up in a city like Baltimore, or who grow up in third world countries, or even have rheumatoid arthritis to understand that they're not the only ones going through what they're going through. I want them to understand that they matter, and if they establish their own why, they can make their own dreams come true. Without my understanding of my why, I would not be able to have accomplished all that I have athletically and been able to graduate from the #1 public university. Throughout my 5 years, I've learned a plethora of valuable lessons, but there are a few valuable ones that have stuck with me. Learning to have the ability to shift my mindset from a why me or victim mindset to how I can make the best of my situation. How can I draw my own silver lining? This is a very vital lesson for me during this past season, leading up to the tearing of my other Achilles tendon in late February. I had dislocated my elbow in August of last year, and I'd worked really hard every day to come back for the start time of season in January. By the start of the season, I was back on 3 out of the 4 events that I competed, and I was feeling really good about myself. Until about the 3rd meet of the season when I started feeling pain in my right Achilles tendon. Deep down, I knew it was only a matter of time before it snapped, and I was terrified to tear my Achilles tendon again. But I thought about my journey thus far, and I looked to my teammates for motivation. I had an important job to do, and I couldn't give up on myself or my teammates. I knew that I'd have to make the best of the time that I had left. It was hard to mask the pain and fear that I was feeling all the time, and there were some days where it was really apparent on my face that I was scared. But despite that, I cherished every moment on my team. February 17th at the Oregon State meet, the moment I tore my Achilles tendon, it was everything that I expected, but I was still devastated. This moment was absolutely heartbreaking for not just me, but my entire team as well. It was also the moment we all found a new strength in ourselves. The team regrouped after an upsetting rotation and was able to have the best beam rotation of the season, and I was able to shift my mindset in a way that was conducive to the team's success. It was a tragic moment for me, but I didn't want that day to be defined as a tragedy. Something else that has stuck with me is the concept of being all in. Being all in is not just investing time and energy into something, but also committing every aspect of your life to the goal that we've set out to accomplish. Putting our heart into staying invested into our whys and using our passion and love for what we do to motivate us every single day. The scariest part about being all in is the idea of knowing that we could fail, even after giving everything that we have. The idea prompts the question, what constitutes as failing? I think that being here at Cal has taught me that the only way we can fail is if we don't go all in. If we give everything that we have, then we're already a winner. Another lesson that I will take with me beyond my college experience is the value of empathy. Understanding that everyone has differences and that make them who they are, and we all have different whys and things that make us happy. I try my best to walk a mile in other people's shoes, grasping of the idea that if I don't know better, how can I possibly do better? I try my best to get to know people first before I assess who they are. I've definitely learned that passing negative judgment on people does not have any benefit for me. So I want to treat everyone the same when I initially meet them. Learning this tool helped me see the world and life as less of competition, but more of a collaboration between bright-minded individuals. Throughout my life, I've always been taught to compete with the girl next to me, whether it's in the gym or in the classroom. So learning these lessons and going through this entire collegiate experience has allowed me to help other girls and women understand that they should never let anyone define who they are or their potential. It's possible to break any barrier if you truly believe in yourself. It's also an opportunity to celebrate other women and their accomplishments. Not to envy these women that are sitting at the table, but to use other women as motivation to bring more chairs to this table. Reflecting on all of my experiences and lessons that are all part of my identity and part of the Cal experience, I want to travel back in time to my very first collegiate interview and hear the question, who is Toni-Ann Williams? Because this time, I would answer, Toni-Ann Williams is a golden bear. Thank you.